Hello again, everyone. I wanted to make a video, something that I have strong ties to, something that concerns me a lot, and that's some of the talk going on about the murder suicide that had recently happened, things of that nature. And I've seen a lot of videos that many people have done, excuse me, talking about anxiety and depression, and I've made my own videos about that as well. Because personally, I have gone through that, and I've had a lot of terrible, I guess, stories about my own anxiety and depression and how it has affected me. But I also realize too that since I have been able to receive help, I know now the tools I need to utilize in order to get through that. And in reality, we know that we can't get rid of it. Once you have this problem, it's not going to go away. So we have to find a way to live through it. And again, like I said, there's ways of coping with it. There's tools that can be used that really do help. And I have to say that because of that, I have uh, I have come a long way. I mean, a long way. And probably I feel better now than I have probably in the last 20 years, at least 15. And that's saying a lot because I've been down in the dumps a lot, and for one reason or another. So it doesn't matter what the reason is, be it uh, from your environment, um, the type of people you're around, or what organization you belong to, or religion, or whatever. It could be anything, anything that could start it or cause it, and that's really the sad part about it is there's so many factors that are in play here. But I kind of wanted to discuss that a little bit by saying that so many people coming out of the JW religion, or who are still in, do still suffer greatly from these problems. And I was talking to somebody just the other day that was talking about his sister and the problems that she has, and and it's just been rough, and for a very long time, because this is an older individual. So this is very tough, and if you don't have a way to get help, that's really what hurts the most. Or in some situations, not realizing that you need the help and then going out and getting it. And this goes for people that are still current witnesses and some who aren't. And obviously, this situation, where sadly the whole family lost their lives because of this, and they were already out, and that saddens me deeply, just because they were finding a new life, and still that old one yanked them back in and caused more damage. And I hate to think about that. I hate to even learn about stuff like that happening, but I know it exists. And my heart goes out to those people because I know how they're suffering. I know what that suffering can be like. And even though me personally has never been quite that bad, it's bad enough. It doesn't matter the severity of depression or anxiety that you have, it's still there. And and it's really hard to see, especially if it's someone that you've known for a long time, someone that's very close to you. It's really hard to see them suffer like that. And sometimes if you're in a certain place, no amount of talking them up and trying to build them up is really going to help. I know for a while, I was in a really deep depression. And even my wife, she was trying every day, she would try and build me up. And it didn't make me feel better. And I hated that it didn't, just simply because I knew she was trying her hardest to help me feel better. And it just wasn't happening. And it wasn't until I found the root cause of my depression. And I think that's the key, is if you can find what's causing that, or if you can find the underlining problems that are causing you to, say, go into a deep depression, and finding ways of working with that, I think that helps out a lot. Now, for personally for me, my depression was simply because it was simply induced by my anxiety. So I had anxiety about everything, just generalized anxiety disorder. And that was just everything caused me to have anxiety. And if it just got to where it overwhelmed me, then I would just be depressed. And I would have periods of time for weeks and several months sometimes where I was just depressed. And I just felt like if I just go ahead and drink a few big swigs of Pine Sol, it would all be over. And everybody else would be happier because they didn't have to worry about it anymore. And really, I hated when I got those thoughts. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. But there were times where I felt like I would just, it would be, better off. It would just be better if I were dead. And that's, yeah, that's just dangerous. And when I sit and I think back about how I felt about it, I shudder just to actually think about. I actually felt that way, and I know others who have felt the same way. I've talked to people that have felt that way, and it's hard. It's really tough to see someone like that. So really, all we can do is just to continue to support these people. And this family that had this tragic ending, maybe they did have some help, maybe they didn't. I know they were separated from their family. Obviously, they had some friends, and maybe their friends just didn't know. And that's really tough too, because sometimes you just don't know. Most people, and I myself have done it as well, is just put on a smiling face, just because I don't want somebody to come up and say what's wrong, and then have to try and explain it. And if you can, or if you are in that mood that you can share with somebody, great, then you should do that. But oftentimes, a person is not really wanting to do that. And so they would just rather put on a smiling face and act like everything's okay. And I understand that because, like I said, I've done that before. So there's some things that I guess, unless you're really paying attention to, you can miss very easily. So I have friends that I know have gone through that, but I don't have a whole lot of friends anymore. I mean, not around me that much, and most of my friends are different areas, different places. So I can't really see them on a day-to-day basis. So I can't offer too much help in that way. But what I can say is that really the behavior, it's a certain behavior, and you can tell, especially when that person is when that person's kind of maybe, well, let's say you're at some kind of a get together, and that person may be by themselves for just a few moments. Maybe nobody's there actually talking to them, but just look at them for a few moments. I mean, not in a creepy sort of way, just kind of watch a little bit and see how they do. Watch for that body language, certain things that can really help you to kind of see. Um, there's certain body language that a lot of people have. If you see a lot of people doing something like this, they have their, if you can see that right. Anyway, got my arms across me like this. You see a lot. I see a lot of people doing that, and that is a telltale sign of insecurities, and insecurities go hand in hand with anxiety and depression. And if you see people kind of not so much standoffish, but just more like drawing in and maybe preoccupied. So many of you are probably know more about this stuff than I do, but I'm just sort of relaying personal experiences because a lot of times I would seek gatherings as a JW, but I felt more alone doing that than I ever did just being by myself. Yeah, I was just the type of person that I was okay when I was by myself. And even though I would get lonely at times, I was I felt the loneliest when I was at gatherings just simply because I never had a whole lot of friends to talk to. And and for me to have gone through the things I did was bad enough, but for these good folks who have left or stayed in or whatever the case may be, and they've gone to that point where they've either seriously thought about hurting themselves or did or killed themselves. I mean, such a tragedy, such a loss because uh, those people could have offered such wonderful counsel, such wonderful stories, great friendships, but it's all lost now because they took their own lives, and that's so terrible because these people had a life, whether you can whether you feel like it was in anguish or torture, perhaps it was still a life, and they still had that right for happiness. We all have that. You have that. I have it. It's everybody deserves it, and if there's ways that you can help in any way to help someone that you know, just just even a hello or a lot of times for me it was just a pat on the back or grab the shoulder or whatever. So that just goes a long way. I mean, it really does. It might just be the smallest thing, just so minute, but it goes such a long way in helping a person like that because you can always recall that, even though it's a split moment in time, just a little drop in the bucket. It still puts a puts a huge memory. The, it affects that memory to where you can recall it at any time, and even at your darkest hours or at your best of times, you'll still remember that because of how it made you feel. So, um, just certain gestures. You don't even have to say anything sometimes. Just being there is help enough. And for those who suffered greatly, much worse than I have, maybe more needs to be done. Maybe something different. And I'm no professional on it by any means, but I have learned a lot, so much in the past 3 years. And if it wasn't for certain ones that I have met in my recent journey through my own illnesses, there was a couple of people who stood out above and beyond the rest that made such an impact on my life that I could never thank them enough. And even though um, I don't know where they are anymore or I don't see them anymore, doesn't mean that I still don't remember that very clearly. And I just wish that I could just continually to thank them for that. But they're not here. They're somewhere else now. But it had such a deep impact on me that it helped me in that journey to say, hey, look, you can't let this keep you down. There's a way to get through this. There's a way to do it, and it took some time, and it took a lot of soul searching. And my personal experience is not going to be the exact same thing for somebody else. It's not going to be the exact thing they need. but there is something that they are going to need, and maybe it's going to take them to find it. It took me to find mine, and it it took a long time, and others it might not take as long. Some people maybe even longer, depending upon the circumstances or how bad they feel. But it's something that you can do, as little as it may be, that can start the ball rolling and to create that opening, or at least clear out a way that you can blaze your own trail, so to speak, and be able to find the path that you need to have inner contentment, peace, tranquility, serenity. I can't use those words enough, just simply because once you find it, once you have realized that it is attainable, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what you're going through, you can still find that peace of mind that everyone needs in their life. Even if you don't have issues with depression or anxiety, you still need peace of mind. Everybody does, and once you find it, it's um, it's just a wonderful thing. And I feel so much better just that I've personally found it, and I hope everybody else does too, because I think that's what's needed now the most, is that peace of mind. And as long as you're going down a path that's self-destructive, be that if you're still in a cult, or if you continue to harbor that same sentiment in your life, even if you've left it behind, you can still continue on with that. Self deprecation. I've been talking about that earlier today on Facebook. So many people are just want to put their own selves down. It's one thing to laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself all the time. I have nothing but laughter of myself all the time, because I'm just that type of person. But uh, I don't talk down of myself to the point where I use that as a mechanism to cope. And if you do, please don't do that anymore, please, because you're just harming yourself. There's so many people in the media that have done that, and with disastrous results. Um, it's it just happens, and if you don't get yourself out of that, you're just going to continue. Excuse me, continue to spiral down, and I hate to see anybody do that, because it's just destructive. And I I really look at it in kind of a broader picture, and I can see now life is more as just this loving surrounding energy around you. And uh, to me, it's just, despite all the things that go on behind the scenes, the things that are going on in the world today, the violence, and the rioting that people do, and just whatever else, we have to um, we just have to see that whole overall picture. And even though this stuff, we know it's there, but there's something better and beyond our comprehension that's around us. Whether you whether you wish to believe in a creator, or something big, something bigger, or whether you've let that go or not, there's still a way to find that peace. It's just something that's bigger than all of us. That it's not just there for one or two people, or just a few handful. It's there for everybody. It's like there's enough for everybody. And all you have to do is just find it. And I know that path is going to be long, hard, and arduous, but it's so worth doing. I'm 46 years old. I'll be 47 in a month. and it's not too late. Okay, it's not too late. And there, I found it. I was able to get there recently, and if I can do it, I know you can too. So please, everybody, be kind to yourselves. Please, if you're having difficulties, please find help wherever you can. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm here. I'm right here to help. And all you have to do is message me, whatever. Leave a comment, whatever it is. I would I would do whatever I could to help you out. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly mean that. And I appreciate comments I've had. I've had a lot of good positive comments from people, and I appreciate every one of them. I've had some that that were more negative. I appreciate that too, just simply because I know that you are searching for something, and whether you wish to acknowledge that or not, you are searching for something. Otherwise, you would have never come across my video. So if you have a if you just need to say something or whatever, um, you can talk to me. And I know I might be the last on the list. That's fine. But I'm still here and not going anywhere. I'm here to help. And that's just what I want to do. Because to me, that's the best thing that I can do now for the sake of my fellow human beings is to just be there to help, to listen, and to maybe open up something that helps you find your own pathway. I wish you all the best, and I wish you all peace and good health to all of you. And thank you so much for watching. I look forward to any comments and start some good conversations. Okay. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later.